Hello, welcome to Intersection Chats. I am Reme Mancera, a personal brand story strategist, and today my guest is Kim. Hello, Kim.
Hello, everybody. My name's Kim Morrison, and I'm a marketing strategist and a Canva ambassador, and have been doing social media since I started my business about 14 years ago. So about the time that social media actually first started. So
Amazing. So, we are going to talk about that, like the intersection between social media and personal brand story and how they affect each other.
yeah,
So, let's start by sharing from your big experience. Like, how do you think personal brand story is connected to social media? How do you think they affect each other?
it's imperative. I mean, if you want, the key thing with social media is that you're trying to build those know, like, and trust factors that are so important to winning new clients. And part of that is the know. They need to get to know you. And so, therefore, sharing your personal brand story absolutely dovetails perfectly into this, and is a really key, important part.
Mm. Yeah, I totally agree on the no. It's also about the trust because I feel that using your story strategically, you
Mhm.
will also showcase like why you do the work that you do, why
Yep.
this is important, and then it will help you to build trust and to show how you are someone trustworthy
Yep.
and to build the connection between you and the audience. So I agree. I feel that using personal brand storytelling is so powerful as a
Mhm.
business because it's like it's showing more than just the service or the benefit of the service or the offer that you have. Is about who are you as a person and also how what is the unique approach that you have in social media.
The biggest problem that I find with clients is that they need to get over themselves. They are very, very hesitant, and I confess to having done been the same myself. Very hesitant to put themselves in front of the camera or on their social posts. Um, and yes, I do make the point that their social media shouldn't all be about them. It does need to be about what the client's looking for. But equally, you can, as you work so well with and your story connectors, it's about using that story to illustrate what you do and why you do it. That is really key, and people relate to that, and it's really important. And they want to know you; they want to see who they're going to work with, having a face to the name or the brand or whatever. And I know that takes a leap of confidence in lots of ways to actually do that, because it's very easy to hide behind, faceless social media. And I was there; I pulled my hand up to it. I confess to that, but it just doesn't work. It does it's so much it does if you just want to sell a product, but if you're actually selling a service, and I mainly work with coaches, therapists, and service providers, you need to get out there and actually be yourself and be at the front of your brand, because you are your brand in effect. You're not a big organization. I did work for big organizations, and I'd presented in front of like 1,000 people, no problem at all. The day I went to my first networking event on my own company, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why have I done this? And it felt so much more exposing. And you
Mm.
just need to get over that feeling of exposure so you can move on and actually get people to understand why you do what you do.
Yeah, and I think going back to the idea of how, especially for service providers, because we don't have something tangible
Yeah,
to make pictures of or to share
yeah,
it. So it's about how you convey this idea of what is the outcome that you provide. And
yes,
part of it, you can use your storytelling
yeah,
for like illustrate that benefit
yeah.
and really make people understand what is what you help with and why this is important. And I want to know your experience on this because I know that when I started my own business, I also were really concerned about the privacy in the sense of I am
Yeah.
really private person. So
Mm,
everyone was telling you should be using storytelling, you should
yeah.
be vulnerable. And I was like, yeah, but I want to be like I want to keep my privacy.
Yeah.
I am overwhelmed because I am not sure how to do this.
Mm.
So I would like to know your how was your experience when it was about your own business?
I was, as I said, very hesitant to start this. But what I don't do, I don't expose huge amounts of my husband and my family because that's not fair on them. Um, I I haven't got my horse anymore, but I used to include my horse because that really attracted a certain number of people who love horses, and I love horses. Uh, but it's just letting people know there's little bits and pieces about you that make a big difference. And part of my whole brand story is that I actually, when I left the corporate world, and a lot of people I know who do that, I actually was thinking about completely retraining and becoming a therapist. And that's why I really enjoy helping therapists,
Mm.
because that's what I wanted to be. And when I realized actually I needed to earn money more quickly than that, um, then spend more money on training and do it, I really can use what I knew already to actually help those people find their clients. And so that's what my angle is. Angle sounds too manipulative. It's very genuine, and that's the whole point. Your story and your personal brand story should be very genuine, very authentic, and very much about why you do what you do. Because
Yeah.
everyone has that, and loads of people I know, particularly therapists and coaches, go into that kind of business because they've had a really good experience themselves. So
Mm.
they had a good experience with that therapy or that coaching program, and they've become the person who promotes that now because it was so valuable to them, and they just feel it has something to offer everybody else. So once you've got that feeling that you can offer something to everybody else, then you need to do that. And part of
Mm.
that is letting them know why you're doing what your results were. And I know that can feel very exposing, but it is that, as I said earlier on, you just have to get over yourself
Yeah.
and just do it and bite that bullet. Pull up those ladies' expression, those big girl knickers, and uh, and go. And that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you don't have to
Al-
be all over all the time, but just some photos really make a difference.
Mm. And something that I always recommend to the people that I work with is like you are the one in control,
Mhm.
deciding which is the level of
Yeah,
detail that you want to share,
yeah,
which are some areas that you don't want to go there, and it's totally fine. You don't need to. So
yeah,
it's your own business. You are the one deciding what are you
yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
Um, and I always like to highlight the difference between personal and private because
Yes.
you can keep your story private and your
Oh,
details
absolutely.
private
Yeah.
and still showing who who you are as a professional, as someone that is serving them. So
Yes.
there is this line where and also something that you can do if you want the same story, you can share it in different ways and you
Mhm.
can decide the level of detail, maybe in a
Yes.
more exposed scenario you are just be more just briefly mentioning, but then maybe in your email marketing you feel like this is my safer space, I will be
Yes.
sharing a bit more. And then even I have seen how people are in the onboarding process,
Mhm.
they are sharing a bit more as a way to like show their clients that this is a safe space where they can share their be vulnerable. So you can decide which is the level that you can use.
Well,
Yeah.
go on, sorry. Also, by
Yeah.
sharing your story and your experience, you can make people feel comfortable. I mean,
Yes.
because I come across very confidently, I'm told, I don't always feel confident, but I'm told I come across very confidently. People don't think I ever had that, jittery nerve part. And saying that I did, and that's okay, is very
Yeah.
reassuring when you're onboarding new clients. It's like, okay, we can get away around it. You don't have to
Yeah.
expose your whole family. I know a lot of people will not put their children on Facebook or
Hmm.
Instagram. And I completely understand that because you want to keep them safe.
Yes.
Um, but you can Facebook and Instagram, for all the criticism of them, and there's a lot, um, also actually have options where you can choose who sees what posts. You have
Hmm.
to make the effort to go into the settings to do that, but you can have a group of close friends or you can have a public group, and you can swap between those two. You have to remember to do that in terms of what gets shared.
Mm.
So if you want to keep part of your private life private and still be on a Facebook or Instagram, you can do that. You just have to tag the right people. It takes a bit more effort, but it is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you decide, like, as you said, like you are deciding who is in which of the groups and what are
Yeah,
you sharing with them and
yeah,
all of that. And of course, about the children and the social media,
mm,
there are a whole other conversation there.
exactly. Yes.
But yes, it's like the things that you decide and what I was just going to mention is how, for any story related to you or related to your family or anyone, is like deciding, sharing the lessons that you get from that moment, the
Yeah.
emotions that you live. That's going to connect with people. You don't need to go into the details
Yeah.
to create that connection. So you can still share moments that, and keep it like super briefly, and still showing that interaction, that human connection.
And it does make a difference. Again, sharing your story. I've only just closed the brand down, but it's still part of my brand is be your own graphic designer. I've now merged that with my more marketing business because running two businesses is just a really big headache. Um, so I've now merged that, and I do still do the Canva training. But for me, one of the big things is, and one of the things people relate to is, I say I literally cannot draw a straight line. I'm full of ideas. I'm very creative idea wise. Cannot get those down on paper, and Canva's allowed me to do that, which is a really good way of just again breaking the ice and just saying, you can do these things. It is easy to do them once you know. And I literally, I'm not an artist or graphic designer in any way, shape, or form, but you learn and you can teach yourself and you learn more of these things as you go along. So
Yeah.
yes, so those kind of things and that kind of story just does help. So mine, I often used to put in posts, I cannot draw a straight line. I am hopeless at this. But having said that, I'm Chemical Investor. I have nearly a 6,000 following on YouTube, and it's like you can teach people. So I keep very short tips, very simple trainings, so that people can work their way through it easily.
And I love that you can use your own storytelling to show how you were in their shoes, so you
Yes,
really
exactly.
understand
Yeah,
their concern or what they
yeah,
are going through. So
yeah.
that's a great way to use one of your the moments of your story.
Yeah.
So I would love to also go into the how you can use your stories or any other ideas, how you can use social media for your business. I have heard for people, and I have been using that three pillars, and I would like to know your opinion. How you can use social media for being in front of new audiences, for
Mhm.
nurturing that relationship, and
Yeah.
for selling your
Yes.
services or what you offer. So, how do you think in those moments will be interesting to use storytelling, and not just showing the features of your
Yeah.
offer?
Well, the good thing on terms of your stories, I mean, in particular on Instagram, and a lot of coaches and therapists are on Instagram. Um, One of the things you can do is actually pin your story to the top post. So you can just pick up a good post that's about your story, about why you're doing what you're doing, with ideally a video, but that could be a step too far. Which I completely appreciate. But you could have a video with I'm going to say hook, but that's very techy, with a post like just has to say, put some type on it that says my story or why I do what I do. Um, and on the cover of your video or on your post with a picture of you or just, and it can be what's also, this sounds also techie, B-roll. So you don't actually have to be doing something. You don't have to be talking to the camera. You could just be you, I don't know, moving, I could reach around and move the picture of my horse or do something else or just doing something around the house or walking, just film yourself walking around. I've got a great one I'm about to put out of me walking along the beach because I live right on the coast and it's lovely. Um, and those kind of things just it helps people see who you are, where you're at, and then you can just actually go on and tell your story in the post. And as I said, pinning that means that that's the first things that people will see when they go to your, because you have an option of pinning 3 posts at the top of your Instagram profile. Of that's what they'll see when they go to your profile.
Hmm. Yeah, and other ideas for doing the B roll is just
Mhm.
when you are working. If let's say
Yeah,
you are, even if you are working on the computer,
yeah,
you can put just your phone and
yeah.
recording yourself just when you
Just
do. Let's say if you are
okay.
doing a session,
Yeah,
so you just can record yourself just and then use it as the image, and then you can do a voiceover
yeah,
reading your story there, or even using pictures and combining that. So you have so many options. Of course,
So many
is
options,
I
but don't get overwhelmed. Keep it simple. Just keep
yes,
it simple. If just a simple photo is going to work with just the look, with just the wording, why I do what I do, that would be great because that will catch attention. So,
yeah,
and then all the information about how you use your story and why you're doing it can be in the caption.
yeah, and also because it's not that you share once and it's
Yeah.
done.
No,
So you
which is
can
people's
share
real
it.
concern about social media. So the good place, the really good place to sell is, of course, stories. So
Mhm,
the stories that when because it's I'm going to say really good real estate or land because it's right at the top of your posts or your streams. You get reminded of them on Instagram. You see them on Facebook as soon as you go on. So it's a really good place to actually sell.
mhm.
And because they disappear in 24 hours, you don't have to feel like, oh God, I'm being too tacky or I'm being too pushy or any of
Yeah,
those things. Any of those things that we just get overwhelmed with and think, oh, we shouldn't do that. But it's really easy to do that. So that's one
yeah,
way, another
yeah,
way of actually selling.
yeah.
Again, you, B-roll, whatever, really works well on that.
Mm. Yeah, this is like how to make it easier. And we during these chats, we already have talked about that topic of how you work and just analyze what works best for you. I
Yeah,
always like to ask, okay, if you are someone that naturally you go and you take your phone and send audio messages,
yeah.
use that
Use your
and
voice.
see
Yeah,
use your voice and see how you can use that. Or if you are more like a writing person,
yeah,
go in that direction and use that as the base, and then you maybe read it, but you start with
yeah,
the writing. So
yeah,
use what makes more sense for you, what is easier for you, and it's about sharing what it makes you unique, what is your approach. And so we want to repeat that message, so use it in different format as well. So do you have any um, uh, advice that you give to your clients about how to share the same thing in different ways?
But one of the things I always say is be consistent, whatever you're doing. And sharing the same thing isn't a problem. And you could, because social media is, apart from the pinned post we just talked about, is so fleeting. People don't see it that much. So you don't have to agonize about the fact, oh, they'll have all seen this a zillion times before. If another month or a couple of months later you want to share the same thing, there's no problem with that. It'll be fine. And it'll actually just serve to reinforce because people won't, although I know you'll have spent hours delicately designing or whatever this or recording this post, it'll be so brief in other people's lives that they won't probably remember it. So don't be offended by that, but just be realistic about it. Um, and you can reshare some of the things that you've already used and repeat them again. It's not a problem. Not every week, but a couple of weeks later or a slightly different angle on something is an easy way to do it. Or just
Mm,
changing a photo, doing something different. Because the
yeah,
captions you can keep the same if you wanted to.
yeah,
So
yeah. And this is
that's an important
something.
thing to do.
Yeah, it's a way, especially if you are a solo business
Yes.
owner or you have a really small team. Is like you have limited capacity. So
Yes.
how to share the to reinforce the message in a way that you are not starting from scratch every time. So
My
you have
advice
your pillars.
also is to be consistent, but don't post 24/7. You don't have to post every day. I think it's been fed to us by all the gurus that you must post every day. And I have to say, if I was doing a launch or doing something special, I would post every day going up to a launch, or even a couple of times a day. But my normal posting is usually three times a week.
Hmm.
And I don't think you need to be on social media all the time. And that's one of the things that a lot of my clients find very challenging because they haven't got the time. They want to do what they didn't go into their business to become a marketing expert or spend all the time on social media. They want to actually do what they trained to do. So not being on there all the time means that you will still attract clients. I mean, I had a very quiet phase of hardly appearing at all at the beginning of this year because of lots of things going on for me personally, but had occasional posts, just occasionally things. And since then, I've actually learned that actually doing things three times a week is absolutely fine. Don't go mad. And I still picked up some very nice clients in the type scale. It's fine.
Mm,
They
mm,
Googled me. One of the things I also talk about people doing is actually posting on their Google business profile. Most
Mm-hmm.
people don't bother to do that, and it's such a valuable piece.
Mm.
Google loves new content, so so posting on your Google, and you can put posts just photos on your Google profile. It's one of the things
Mm-hmm.
I think is very underused and
Mm.
hugely beneficial.
And
So,
they are
go
asking
on.
because I have no idea and I haven't used it myself. So, do you have the option? I know that you can upload images. Do you have the
Mhm.
option to also upload like the captions there as well?
Yes, yep,
Okay,
yep.
nice.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
With a button that actually says "Book now," "Buy," "Learn more,"
Mm-hmm.
all those kind of things. So you can choose
Nice.
the options. And some of the social media schedulers, not all of them, but some of them do allow you to post directly to when you're posting to Facebook and everything else. Do allow you to schedule to Google Business, your Google Business
Mm,
profile too,
nice.
which
Yeah.
again saves so much time.
Yes, yes, we want to save them. So yeah, and also because in Google, the business, you have the reviews, and you
Yes,
can go in the other way around and bring in the reviews to your social
to
media,
use social
right?
media. Exactly, yes. So you can go
Mm-hmm.
both ways around. And actually, more recently, it was actually beginning of this year or end of last year, I can't remember when, but you never used to be able to put all your social media links on your Google Business profile, but now you can.
Mm-hmm.
So people can find you from there and go to your social media very easily.
Nice,
There's all
nice.
those kind of things that just help and make it easier. People want to find you, they want to know more about you. So it's quite
Yeah.
important that they can.
Yeah. And what about other ways that for social proof? Because one of the things that I like,
Testimonials is the other one.
yes,
It's
yes.
what other people say about you. If you've got video testimonials, brilliant, but I accept those are quite hard to get. But you can just take, as I said, your Google profile reviews or ones that have been given to you directly and put them onto a post. Very easy posting to do. Make it look pretty in Canva. There's lots of lovely templates you can use, and and then post that on your social media. And that's one
Mm,
of your 3 posts a week. And that's what someone else is saying about you that's so important and why they found you important. Because people are usually very generous. Again, another thing that my clients really struggle with is actually asking for testimonials. I've actually almost had to twist their arm to get them to do it. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." I'm like, honestly, people will be happy to do it. And I remember one client, he was like, "Joe, I sent out 12." He said, and they all came back. I was so pleased. And I remember doing this early on in my days, doing LinkedIn profiles. And I got, and in those days, it was from people who I'd worked with rather than just, they were so good. They were so nice. I was actually really moved in terms of how beneficial that people had found working with me, or working for me in those days, in terms of but I was building towards my business, which just gave, I suppose, even if it was a business profile and you're new to your business, you could ask people who have worked with you or for you there, because it still proves the kind of person you are.
yeah,
And, and that's the
100%.
important bit.
Yeah, because I have a lot of people that they maybe they are starting or they are
Yeah,
pivoting, because I work a lot with people that they are pivoting in their business. It's like,
yeah,
okay, I don't have testimonials for the new offering. It's like, okay, what are the skills that you are using in those
yes,
offers that
yeah,
you have already used for other clients in different offers? Because you can bring those pieces of those testimonials there, and it's not, you don't need to make up their testimonial. It's just
no,
choosing the part that they are talking about, that
yeah,
specific part,
yeah,
right? Yeah. And also how, when you want to highlight, let's say a skill, let's say a specific factor benefit
mhm,
of your offer, I always invite people to, okay, you have a testimonial, you have the benefit. Think
yeah,
about also a story, a meaningful moment where that
mm,
skill was relevant, not just as now here in this work with your clients, but in a different scenario. I
yeah,
love when clients go with stories that they are working in a different like different industry, or
yeah,
if they are using the skill with family. So bring that, because that's showing how this is natural to you and is valuable for your clients. So it gives
yes,
more context about how this is something that for you it comes natural, but for them is super valuable. So use
yes.
your story for that.
And it makes such a difference because that's where people really start to get to know you, and then you start to get the business, which is
Mhm.
fabulous.
Yeah. And as you say, we are using who we are. We are not going with this idea of the being manipulative, because
Yeah,
I know that for some people, when you say strategy, they might think of something manipulative. I
yeah,
like to invite people to think about intentional. When you are
yes,
doing something with the strategy, you
mm,
are putting the intention, okay, what is the goal? What is the plan to go
yes,
closer to that goal? I know that you do a lot of strategy for your clients.
yeah.
So it's like having that change in how you see market strategy and marketing in general.
Marketing in particular,
Yeah,
yeah. Marketing in
yeah.
general. Most people, I mean, I have clients, or I've had clients who, when before they came to me, just felt it was like the last thing that they ever wanted to do in their life. They just hated the whole idea of marketing. So making it easier for them has been, a real turnaround for their business.
Mm,
Because they knew they didn't want to get into the whole marketing bit, but they knew they had to if they wanted to grow their business. There was
yeah,
no choice. So it was like, okay, you're just going to have to do it.
yeah.
So
And for some people it's like, okay, this is like another, totally another work that I need to do, because I want to do my business, and then I
yeah,
have this to promote my offers or my services, and I
mm,
know how can be overwhelming. So that's why try to get as things as simple as possible, as you were saying, and
yeah,
try to make things work in your favor.
yeah,
So analyze what works for you, try to repurpose things, and
yeah.
try to help make things easier for you and your business.
Yeah, because you can easily take, and this is where I would use AI as well. You can easily take a blog you've written or a email you've written and ask whatever ChatGPT or whatever to convert it into some social media posts for you.
Yeah,
Make your life easy. I'm very much into simplifying your life and making it easy as you can to actually achieve what you're trying to do, and
yeah,
not spend your whole life doing your marketing because
yeah,
that's not what you went into your business for. So it's like,
yeah,
and I'm very into, living by the sea, living by, in a beautiful place. I don't want to spend all my life working. I want a work-life balance. So,
yes.
so that's really important to me. Love helping people and love working with them. But I do have a life beyond that.
Yeah, yeah, and this is the beauty. Like you can invest time of your life in helping others, but then also
Yeah,
time of your life to be doing other things that will
yeah,
bring your creativity,
yeah,
and you will have your mind will be more helpful for them, because it will
yeah,
be ready for be more creative, for
yeah,
helping them in different things. So I absolutely agree on that. And something that I invite people is to how you can repurpose things that you have already
yes,
done, like as you
yes,
say, if you have blog posts, if you have been invited to a podcast, for example, as a guest, how
yes,
you can use that pieces to repurpose them and use it
yeah,
on social media is beneficial for you, because you are creating content on
mhm,
and sharing your point of view. It's also beneficial for you, for the host that is inviting you, because it's another opportunity for more people to know about their show and so on. So first, maybe make a list of all the things that you already have done in the past,
yeah,
because I know for sure that there are content that we have done, or even resources when we do a class in somewhere else
yeah.
community and things like that. And it's like you get to forget sometimes what you have done. So
You
check
do.
what you
So
have
easy to
done.
forget. Yeah, particularly when you get very busy. But I mean, I'll be taking this recording and I'll be using it and probably cutting out some of the bits, probably cutting you out of some of them, Remy. Don't take it the wrong way. And using some odd bits and pieces of what we've been talking about as posts that I can use just in my social media and, getting just to cut them in. And I know it sounds very techy, but it is actually quite, there are lots of fantastic tools. And that's
Yes.
what I tend to help a lot of my clients with is finding some really simple tools that are either free or very reasonably priced to actually, do this and make it easier for them to cut out the bits. But people don't mind if you make mistakes or and ah. It's part of your natural speech. It's not a problem. If
Yeah.
the whole thing is an and ah, you might need to cut a bit out. Uh, I know. My biggest problem is that I will speak very fast, but a lot of that is just my natural enthusiasm. So I struggle
Yeah.
to keep that slower. But if you're Spanish, you speak so fast anyway. It doesn't matter. Just not think not fast enough.
Absolutely.
I will. That's my English Spanish.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah. So um yeah, use that you have done and repurpose it and try to things make as easy as possible.
Yeah.
That will be like my final thoughts on the topic. I would love to know if you have any other takeaways or insights that you would like to share before we finish our conversation.
Uh, just the takeaway is you don't have to go viral to get clients. You don't have to have huge numbers,
Oh.
and don't think you've got to sit there and do your TikTok dance or whatever it is. Don't go there. And the other thing, I suppose, I mean, you asked me for 3 words. I suppose I'm just going to steal the Nike slogan of just do it.
Yeah,
Just
I
do
love that. Yeah, for me, if I have to summarize the combination of personal brand story and social
it.
media, I would, in one word, I would say nurturing, because I feel that they nurture each other
Yes,
and they make it like more powerful.
yes.
So, yeah.
It's very
So,
nurturing, as I said, and it dovetails perfectly. So it's very important to
yeah.
actually get that across.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this conversation. It
Been
was
fantastic.
lovely.
Yeah,
And yeah, and if anyone that is listening or watching, they want to learn more about you,
yeah,
there are the links out there. And also, if they have any question about a specific tool that they can
yeah,
use or
yeah,
anything like that, feel free to write in the comments, and we will be
yeah,
suggesting our
yeah,
options. So
absolutely.
yeah. So thank you so much,
Okay,
Kim.
and I'm going to go off and now repurpose this video.
Yeah. We are going to
Going
do, they can see like how we are going to do
to
it,
use
and
it later.
they
Yeah,
can like and do the same, of course.
absolutely.
So thank you so much,
You're welcome.
and thank you to everyone that has joined. See you next